man asked himself, what is evil?
Those who disrupt the order, the kindlings of conflict.
The man asked himself, what is justice?
Those who hunt down the villains.
What is our objective?
To hunt down evil, to establish a world of order under our laws.
And is that our objective?
There isn't any objective except this. We can only do this.
Even though the man could not answer again, the questioning voice persists, ever and forever.
I already told you. I didn't come here to attack you all.
On the vast oceans, the loud, high voices pierced the silence. The only thing one could look at was the ocean, and in the center of the ocean, a large vessel was staying on. That was the flagship of the troop led by Thavas, the rear admiral of Aquaforce. The girl, yelling on the broad deck, was bound by shining ropes and left aside.
I don't know why you're not listening to me.
Keep silent, suspects. You should be glad we didn't shoot you without warning.
Crossing his arms, the androgynous-looking boy stared at the girl proudly. The girl was not deterred by his words and continued her complaints.
Suspicious? Who? Me? Ha! That's hilarious.
And another young boy, to the girl's left, cried with a pessimistic voice.
I said I didn't want to work with Olnin. I knew this would happen.
Oh my god. Decision. For the love of Cray and everything holy, could you just shut up? Just shut it. Please.
You should keep quiet. I'll feed your body to the sharks.
The sound of the explosion from behind stopped the speech of the rude-speaking boy, Andrew. He quickly turned around and saw a water pillar approaching them like a tornado.
Andrew, bring the suspects into the ship. We'll have to dive.
Andrew's superior made the order to the silenced boy through the communication device, but he was totally shocked by the erratic scene.
What is that? A weapon? A huge creature? Or...
Cadet Andrew.
Yes, Ensign Orthia.
We'll have to dive. Bring the suspects here.
Yes, madame.
Andrew, finally able to react after repeated orders from Orthia, brought the two suspects with a strength that didn't match his appearance. As they entered the ship, the vessel dived into the ocean. The vertically proceeding water pillar didn't hit them. They survived the danger. At the same moment, a more severe danger occurred in another marine area.
It can't be helped if we keep watching it. Leave it to me.
That is, the source of the water pillar, the cause.
Wait, Commander Battery Boom. The target has high-power weapons. Sending you isn't the best way.
Then what should be done? A few moments later, Max will be engulfed by the attacks of that dragon.
In the direction indicated by Battery Boom Dragon, a naval warrior had lost his consciousness and was floating on the sea surface. However, they weren't facing Lieutenant Commander Max, but instead faced the colossal dragon floating behind him. It had a gigantic body, the body size even surpassing the legendary Admiral Officer Maelstrom.
I'll do it.
For a power mighty enough to be recognized by the most inexperienced novice, even Battery Boom Dragon, a veteran naval soldier, had difficulty ceasing his trembling. In this situation, where everyone felt fear,
Let me lure the target away.
the man spoke and walked calmly as usual.
Taking this chance, please go save Max and wait for my orders after rescuing him.
He was the first Aquaroid of Aquaforce to hold an admiral level rank, permitted to command even the Tear Dragon, the uncrowned kings of the ocean.
Rear Admiral Thavas. Here I go.
This ship's so superb.
True. Common ships cannot fill a body with water. I suppose this is the aquatic soldiers for you. I guess.
The military vessels of Aquaforce are fueled by hydro engines, and thus filled by seawater. That is why fully aquatic beings, such as mermaids and aquatic hybeasts, can stay in the ship.
And there's places filled with air like this? It seems that it can be controlled freely?
Sure, just a moment before, owing the surroundings of that brat nurse had likely an application of this technique.
While we're on the topic of brats, aren't you also one of them?
Hey, what did you say?
Nothing.
At that moment, a nostalgic electronic sound was emitted from somewhere in the goggles of Dadasig.
Ah, there's the response of Stride.
What? It can't be true. Where is it? Where is it?
Olneen, able to move flexibly, even with her limbs bound, moved near Dadasig, who wore his goggles properly. The goggles showed unfamiliar characters and numbers, and on the table like a chart topper, there was a spot that blinked.
The coordinates were the place the water pillow emerged.
You must alert Aluru immediately. I mean now. Hurry.
Olneen moved near the wall again, and used the wall to hold up her hat slightly. Falling from the hat was an extremely delicate mechanical device floating on the air. That was the communication device of Gearchron.
Aluru, a great stride occurs. The location is...
The dragon summoned by the imperfect stride caused by Max possessed power beyond imagination. Beams tore through the ocean and clouds. Everything in the paths of the beams was destroyed, and a new trough was formed on the seafloor.
This is...
But the power of the dragon wasn't the thing that shocked naval soldiers like Battery Boom Dragon. They were watching the warriors who moved skillfully under the rain of beams with only a single Kelpie.
This is the true power of Rear Admiral Thavas.
The cowardly admiral officer who feared to fight. Thavas, who disliked meaningless battles, was branded with such a dishonorable nickname. For this, many of his subordinates doubted the power of their reluctant superior and avoided him. But
In that barrage where one hit means death, he can do it without fear.
normally, Battery Boom Dragon always resisted Thavas' authority. But at this moment, he asked himself, can he do something like this?
Impossible.
He answered immediately. This was a level that even a veteran soldier who joined hundreds of campaigns couldn't reach.
Rear Admiral, just who are you?
One may be misled by the elegant movements of Thavas and assume that he was in an advantageous situation, but that wasn't the truth.
If the eye was okay.
Thavas, after evading some beams, struck with all his strength against the dragon's eyeball, but he couldn't leave even a scratch on the eyeball that resembled pyroxene mineral ores.
Not that point, is it?
To make things worse, even though Thavas still wasn't exhausted, his steed was. A beam tore the waves and cut a strand of Thavas' hair. That was the evidence that Thavas' steed was feeling tired.
At this rate, our stamina would run out first.
To lure away the dragon as much as possible, Thavas held the rein tightly, but his hand was stopped in the air.
This is?
The daunting colossal dragon had half of its body fading away in shining magic circles. Gradually, the body became glowing particles and disappeared. Facing such a scene, even Thavas couldn't turn his eyes away.
Is this magic?
What appeared in front of him was a bizarre dragon. Chrono Jet Dragon. The bizarre dragon disappeared with the magic circle and the colossal dragon. And judging from this, Thavas concluded that the magic circle was a product of the bizarre dragon.
What's happening?
Patting his exhausted steed, Thavas returned. He was convinced that some impact happened on the planet, but he didn't know what.
I see. So you guys came to teach us how to control Stride.
Technically speaking, they are the messengers we have sent to inform you of this issue.
On the deck that floated on the water's surface again, There were Olneen and Andri staring at each other angrily. Uluru and Thavas, who talked without changing their facial expressions. Poor Dadasig, who had absolutely no intention to stay on the scene and sat with his hands laced behind his head.
Haven't I told you?
Oh, suddenly now you want to go find the rare emeralds.
Silence, Olnin.
Fall back, Andri.
Although they didn't argue back, they seemed to be opposed to the results. The quarrel of the kids was stopped by their superiors.
So, Master Thavas, will you accept being the first representative of Aquaforce to learn Stride?
Understood. I accept.
So quickly! You accepted it so easily!
Even Dadasig couldn't hide his astonishment when he saw Thavas accepting the offer so swiftly.
If the same situation arises again, I can't solve it by myself. For this, if I can learn how to deal with it, quicker means better.
Man, you're pragmatic.
It's a good thing you can be negotiated with. Let's begin the training immediately.
Several days later, in an uninhabited marine area, there were Thavas and Uluru riding on a gear dragon.
Just do the summoning this time. Calm yourself. Don't be confused.
Thavas was illuminated by the light emitted by his hydro engine equipped weapon, which created a force field. As he stood on the water and closed his eyes, the water became turbid.
Refine the picture in my mind.
At first it was a small vortex. The small vortex became a large whirlpool. The large whirlpool became a water tornado. The water tornado became a water pillar that brought up the turrets and covered Thavas fully.
Master Thavas.
Are you a man of the Navy?
It seems that you are also a man of the Navy.
3,820 seconds generation, the Rear Admiral of Aquaforce Lambros.
The 3,822nd generation?
To you, I come from the future. Am I right?
That means I succeeded. My name is...
No, I won't ask your name. If you're a famed general who would leave your name in history, I cannot help but view you with bias. I want to be treated equally in this era.
Understood.
My body was fading away. Seems time is up.
My apologies. Looks like I need some time to become familiar with this power.
There isn't only one justice. The number of beings is the number of justice. Always ask yourself, what is the right thing to do?
This phrase is...
an idiom widespread in my era.
As the water pillar dissipated, the sweating Thavas showed up.
There isn't only one justice, is it?
Wiping drops of water from his face, he lowered his hat and,
One day, my justice...
with a sorrowful smile, Thavas gazed upon the faraway horizon. The water, only flowing one way along the canals, noticed after approaching the possibility named future.
There isn't only one path. If there's only one, then just build a new one. If the direction of the path is wrong, just turn the flow toward the right direction. The water becomes waves and storms, and one day it will break the old rules. It would show a new path and the form that justice should be to everyone.